This is video 7 of Advaita Vedanta Non-Dual Monism as taught by Sri Ramana Maharshi. In video 6, we saw the three basic methods used in Vedanta. The first one is that of the seer and the seen. Drik, Drishyam, it is said in Sanskrit. Of course, I am not Sanskrit educated, so I am not going to use extensively Sanskrit terms. Some basic terms which we cannot escape at all, I will give it to you, whatever I have learnt. The second method is called the method of the five sheaths. We saw I am not the body, I am not the breath, I am not the mind, which includes I am the body sense, and then I am not the intellect, I am not the blankness of deep sleep, I am the background awareness. And the third method was the method of the three states. Avastatraya Vichara, it is called. I am not the waker, I am not the dreamer, I am not the deep sleeper, I am the Turiyam, which is at the background, which is constant, eternal, immortal. So who is this waker, dreamer and deep sleeper? It is the mind that arises from the self. So we need to segregate. When we use the word Turiyam, I need to mention this. The word Turiyam means simply fourth, and Mandukya Upanishad does not use this word Turiyam. It uses the word Chaturpath, I mean 4 parts of the self. The Mandukya Upanishad being too small with only 12 verses, very punchy, very packed. There was one Gaudapadacharya who was the guru of Adi Shankara's guru's guru. He wrote what is called Mandukya Karika, verses on Mandukya. He wrote about 200 verses and he used the word Turiyam. This is for your information. Now we have looked at the basic 3 methods. Whatever suits you, you can use it. There are certain other things also to know in the context of Advaita Vedanta. If you are a student of Advaita Vedanta, you would have heard of snake and rope and snake example. Very ubiquitous. I am sure every teacher would use this. Why is this used? To elucidate the truth behind Advaita Vedanta. In twilight, if there is a rope lying on the road, we could easily mistake it as a snake. This is misperception. Actually, is there a snake on the rope? No. This is called the Maya effect. Maya is said to be the special power of the Atman. Okay. See, Atma is full light, bright light. If you look at the camera, plate. If you expose it to full light, there will be no image at all, right? It will be blank. The same way, if you reduce the light of the don't expose the camera film to 100% bright light. You reduce the light, then it will show all the objects. The same way, if our attention is fixed on Atma, which is supposed to be full bright light. Of course, don't imagine it as a light. It is just language, okay? Because it is effulgent, self-effulgent, they say. When we keep our attention on the self, like how in the film, camera film, the images do not appear, the same way the experience of the body, mind and the world will not appear at all. When we fix our attention on that self-effulgent self, Atma, pure consciousness. Now, coming to this snake and rope, rope and snake, it is misperception only. We think we are sure we saw a snake, which means we are seeing and experiencing this body, mind, world and universe. But if you go close, if you just focus a torchlight on that rope, we will come to know, oh, it was a misperception, misunderstanding. There was not a snake at all. What always is the rope only. Here connected to Atma. What always exists is only the Atma, the self-effulgent, self-luminous, supreme consciousness alone exists. This is the use of this analogy, snake and rope. Certain other things are also used in Advaita Vedanta. They will say, if you look at gold ornaments, if you remove the gold from the ornaments, will the ornaments still exist? It will not. And clay pot is another major example. There is a clay pot. If the clay is removed from the pot, will the pot still exist? It will not. So what exists fundamentally is only clay. All other utensils or vessels made out of the clay are only called Nama Rupa Vyavahara, which means name, form and utility. If the clay just remains clay, it cannot serve any utility at all, any purpose at all. We cannot keep water in it. The same way, if it is just a lump of gold, women cannot wear it. It has to be made into a necklace, a ear stud or a ring. The same way, they'll use the analogy of the ocean and the waves. Are waves independent of the water that is the ocean? No. Without water, without ocean, there are no waves. The same way, without Brahman, without pure consciousness, without existence, consciousness, bliss, there is no appearance of the world. When I say the world, the body, mind, world and universe. See, this is the position of Advaita Vedanta. Another example they use is that of a wooden table. If I remove the wood from the table, will the table still exist? It will not. So from all these four examples, we can get the pointer. What are they pointing at? They are pointing at this fundamental reality that what exists is only Brahman. What exists is only the self. What exists is only pure consciousness, pure existence and pure bliss. What exists is what is called Suddha Chaitanyam. These are all words meaning the same thing. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the pure awareness screen in which the body, mind, the world and the universe are just appearances and disappearances. What is the basis on which this discrimination is made? It is made on the basis of permanence and impermanence. Anything material, it is impermanent. This body will live for 100 years or so, it will go. Even the sun will burn itself up, I believe, after 1,000,000 years or so, it will go. So change marks the character of all objects. And no change at all, constants, permanence, immortality, timeless, birthless, that is what our core nature is. From all these examples, we can deduce that we cannot be this body. There was a jeweler who called his young son and said, open the almirah, get me the ring there. The boy, intelligent boy, Advaita boy, he went there, opened the almirah and he came back and said promptly, Dad, there is no ring at all. He said, hey, it is there, man. Go at least get that bangle. Then he went, opened the door, came back and said, Dad, there is no bangle at all. Hey, what are you saying, man? I kept all of them in almirah last night. Go and get that necklace at least. He goes, opens the almirah, comes back and says, Dad, there is no necklace at all. Hey, what else is there, man? The boy said, only gold is there. So, when I say I, you, the world, the tree, the animal, the water, the space, the universe, Advaitin will say, no, they don't exist. Then what exists? What exists is only you, the Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss, which is the background substratum, existence, consciousness, bliss, pure awareness, pure existence, pure bliss. Right. We have seen so much now, the three methods and the example of snake and rope and the example of golden ornaments, the example of ocean and water, the ocean of table and wood, and the example of what is that? Gold, wood, ocean, clay and pot. Right? Without clay, there are no parts. Without gold, there are no ornaments. Without ocean, there are no waves. Without wood, there is no furniture, wooden furniture. So without Atma, without pure consciousness, without Satchidananda, there is nothing. This is the position of Advaita Vedanta. So there is no room for two at all. This two, the second one is cancelled in the light of our understanding that what always exists is only this Atma, the self. Then what is this? The body, mind, world and the universe, they are appearances in the screen, awareness screen that we are fundamentally. Now, we have seen generally what is taught in Advaita Vedanta. What is it that Sri Ramana Maharshi taught? Is there a difference? Of course, he wouldn't say there is any difference at all, but some of his major devotees, they realized that there was something different in Sri Bhagavan's teachings when it comes to the method. See, even Advaita would agree that vicharam or inquiry is the method to realize ourselves. But when Sri Bhagavan gave his method, it was very precise. I mean, it was a mechanistic perspective. That is what I would prefer to call it. He said, if existence, consciousness, bliss, our true nature, why are we not realizing it? He will say, you are ignorant. Ignorant of what? Your true nature. Why? What is the obstacle? The obstacle is the mind, the thoughts. Okay? And you and I know very well, having lived so many years, every day the inner experience is one of thoughts. Thoughts keep popping up one after another successively till we go to sleep. So thoughts provide a torture to us and they veil our real nature. It is an obstacle. Now how to do, what to do with it? How to deal with it? Bhagavan would say, whenever a thought arises, you question to whom is this thought, to whom does this thought occur? The answer will be to me. Okay? So there is an I in that me. He'll say, who is that I? Who am I? Am I this thought, or am I the source from where this thought emanates? So he would advise us to ask, who am I? To whom is this thought? To me. Who is that I? Where from does that thought arise? Which is the birthplace of that thought? And another important thing he would say is, Sri Bhagavan would say is that there are n number of thoughts, thousands of thoughts crop up every day. And he says, the fulcrum of all the thoughts, the root, R-O-O-T, the root of all thoughts is the I thought. What is that I thought? What does it say? It says, I am this body, I am Santivel, I am Kumar. This is what it says. It is a lie. It is a lie because that infinite, vast Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss, reduces itself to the size and capability of this body. The I thought does this mischief and says, I am this body only, I am this body only. It is a lie. And we are trapped in this I thought for lifetimes, he says. Unless we inquire, we challenge that I thought through vicharam, through inquiry, we will be trapped forever. So the only way to realize ourselves, realize our true nature, is to practice vicharam, inquiry. Unless we inquire, we are not going to realize our true nature. We will be trapped in that three states: waking, dreaming, deep sleep. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep. It will go on and on and on. Not only in this birth, it is said it will continue from birth to birth, birth to birth, birth to birth. So if we want to have that full satisfaction of being who we are, if we want to be established in that bliss, permanent bliss, then we need to do vicharam, inquiry. And the uniqueness of Sri Bhagavan's method is this: whenever a thought arises, inquire, to whom does this thought occur? You will say, to me. Who is that me? Who is that I? Which is the birthplace of that I thought? I am sure unless the I thought is born, other thoughts are not born. All other thoughts cling to that I thought because that is the central thought, that is the pivot. And if I thought is not there, all other thoughts will disappear. So we need to uproot that I thought. When I say uproot, we are driving that I thought back to the source. Which is the source of that I thought? Bhagavan would say in Tamil language, Ahandayin Moolam Anma. The source of the ego is the self. Is it as simple? Yes. If the ego, what we call ego is the I thought, I am the body thought. If it is driven back to its source, continuously if we drive it back to its source through vicharam, it goes and subsides and merges with the self. That is called self-realization. That is called moksha. That is called liberation from the cycle of birth and death. So we do give time for everything in life. We do sleep, we do eat, we do take bath, we do work, we do study, we watch TV, we play with the mobile and whatnot. We have given time for relationships. Why not give a little time for vicharam also? And use and won't is Lord of all. There is a saying. Everything is a matter of habit. Slowly, this vicharam also will become a habit. Slowly, the mind will subside in Atma and one day it will result in realization. Let us not get carried away by the statements made by, say, for example, Ashtavakra Muni. He was a great sage. He will say, even he said to Emperor Janaka, Janaka, you are practicing samadhi, right? That is your bondage, he will say. But Bhagavan would say, samadhi must be gained through vicharam. When the breath and mind subside, we get into samadhi. And Bhagavan says, samadhi must be practiced until sahaja samadhi results. Then there is nothing more to do. So, here I am making a reference to the standpoint quotes which we will cover in the next video. Practice, practice, practice. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Where from does this I thought arise? Which is the birthplace of this I thought?